Right, so here we are. So I've wrapped it in film, and this is it. It did kind of rise just a tiny bit, but just not enough. If you guys can see, yeah, it kind of did. You can see the little bubbles coming through. I'm not an expert. I'm not an expert at making this, so I always do. I don't ever measure, but maybe that's the problem. So I'm just gonna put the pan here. And then I've got so I've got the flour, I've got my soda baking, and then I just got on the side is just blue block with tissue. And yeah, so we are basically waiting for the oil, and then we are good to go. So we're gonna do an oil test. So you basically make sure you wash your hands. You have to wash your hand properly, and then you want to kind of keep like, you just wash your hand properly, and then you just dip it in. Dip it. We're just gonna do like a taste. Just pour it in there. The oil is not hot enough yet, yeah? You can see it's just bubbling, it's just not hot enough. So what we are making, if I didn't mention it at the beginning, we are making puff puff. So I've only used simple ingredient for this, but there's different variation, but I will probably at some point do a video on how I did the mixture. So I didn't have time to kind of film with you how I did the mixture. So what I used flour, I used sugar, I used yeast, and then I used water, and then mixed it together, left it overnight for it to rise, and then in the morning, first thing I do, I make the puff puff. I prefer using sunflower oil, but if you guys have any other oils out there that is better, let me know. Drop a comment below. This is perfect for breakfast. When you're having your tea, your coffee, you can just have a puff puff. It tastes so good when it's warm and fresh, and you can eat it at any time. We usually like to have it when we are having functions at birthday parties. We make puff puff because it's so versatile. There's different ways that you can make it. You can add vanilla. You can, add egg to your mixture. You can add nutmeg to your mixture. There's so many different ways to make it. Some people even add yogurt to the mixture. It gives the puff puff like a different texture, depending on what you're adding. Okay, so you want to make sure that when you are making these, that it has risen. Mine didn't actually rise up that much, but surprisingly enough, once the oil got going and I put it through, the yeast kind of activated itself in the oil, and it was actually very, very nice and fluffy. Like I said, I don't actually use measurements when I'm making this, but you don't want to have too much sugar. Okay, whenever you're making a mixture, I will do another video where I share with you guys how I do the mixture, but don't put too much sugar. I never do, and I always get people saying to me why it's not sweet enough, but I don't think it needs to be that sweet. It just needs to have the right amount of sweetness. That way you can eat it with something sweet or something savory. Okay, so you can have it with your piece of meat, your savory dishes, whatever you choose to have it with, and then you can just have it by itself. You can even dip it in chocolate. There's so much to do with the puff puffs. Okay, I'm gonna actually do like a whole series of I'm going to just share with you guys a bit more about the puff puffs, but these are absolutely delicious, tasty, fresh perfect for any occasion, perfect for breakfast, and perfect for your family. If you want to opt out for making pancakes, you don't want to go and buy donuts, these are your go-to. Just have to make it overnight, or make it in the morning, make it overnight, ready for the next day. So guys, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Make sure you subscribe to the channel, you like, you share, you comment. Let me know how you make your puff puff. How do you usually do it? I personally like to keep it simple and just add the flour, the sugar, and the yeast and water to mix it well. So you have to make sure that the oil is frying. As you guys can see, the oil is piping hot. You don't want the oil to be too hot because you want the inside of the puff puff to cook. So I usually keep it on about the temperature 7, but you don't want the oil to overheat, so that way your puff puffs are burnt. Once they are this color, nice and golden brown, you know they're ready to kind of be taken out and be put to the side, and you can add the fresh new batch. These are ready. They look the perfect amount of brown all around, and it's just ready. It's not burnt, it's not too dark, it's not too light, it's the right color. So this is what we do. We just repeat the process. So like I mentioned, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Comment, like, share, subscribe. Let me know if you've ever made a puff puff, if you've ever tried a puff puff. Would you ever make the puff puffs? And there's different names for it, but we call it puff puff ou bien les beignets. But yes, delicious, easy to make. So let me know in a comment if you ever tried it, you like it, and how do you make yours? Okay, I want to know, how do you make your puff puff? But my recipe is 3 ingredients. Sometimes I like to keep it interesting. I may add nutmeg, I may add vanilla or cinnamon. It just depends. And then sometimes I will cover it with chocolate. I will cover it with you can even fill it with chocolate inside. It's entirely up to you. You can definitely have fun with the puff puffs, and when I tell you everybody will love it, they will absolutely love it. Okay, I hope you guys enjoy the rest of the video. Here is the final result. This is how they look like. They are not perfect, but I tell you that are delicious, absolutely delicious. Like, share, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next cooking episode. Bye.